Dear ladies and gentlemen, fellow deplorables, diving a little bit deeper into the mentioned problem of the ties between Namibia and North Korea and the related uranium export. Yep, let's go a little bit into this topic because it's a little bit tricky to handle. But my proposal to involve Mike Pompeo into it still exists. Um, because Mike Pompeo has the biggest influence and impact, and is into North Korea, ne? And it's also because he is highly appreciated by the sister of Kim Jong Un, who is the second leader of Korea, and the probable successor of Kim Jong Un in case he wants to step down. So his influence, he is the one who has the most influence into North Korea affairs. That's why I would like to implement him. And for this special issue, for the special envoy for North Korea issues, maybe combined with as a special envoy to Namibia. It's not for Namibia issues or general African issues, let's see. So diving a little bit deeper into the problematic of the situation with Namibia. Yes, people who are within politics and within MAGA should be a little bit up to date. What's about North Korea? What's going on? And what's our relations status with them? So let's a little bit get into the new topic of Namibia. Namibia is not really an economic power. It doesn't have a lot of influence on the international sphere. So that's why people haven't been too much interested in their politics. But now there is a huge impact due to the fact that they have uranium and due to the fact that they are now eager to export it to North Korea. That affects us. So what is the situation in Namibia? Namibia has been a German colony in the past. It has been shaped a little bit about it as well. Germany had not so many colonies. One of them was Namibia, and not for a very long time, but it had an impression to Namibia. And as you may know, Tulsi, you have been raised in American Samoa. Samoa is a former colony of Germany as well, has ties to Germany, has a little bit imprint of German culture as well, and it's a bit similar to Namibia. So Namibia has been a German colony for a little time, and there were independence war against Germany. Germany had lost the colony later on, and now Namibia is independent anyway. It was a protectorate of South Africa for a longer time, and then it has been released to independence. The independence rebels, SWAPO, are winning the elections, in all elections, and now lately as well. Now a woman is president. The first time in Namibian history a woman has become president. A former SWAPO fighter, and so this kind of independence guerrilla have been a little bit left wing, not really communist, not really socialist. Namibia is not a communist socialist country, but it has this kind of impact, a little bit of this kind of guerrilla, using kind of propaganda advertisement as well. This kind of habit, what is a bit monotone and what is similar probably to Pol Pot's manner to hold speeches and make propaganda, was a little bit into an artificial way, this kind of propaganda sometimes, and not really free speech, so they prepare always for the speech with arguments, etc. So she is a woman, and the woman is a woman, and the man is a man. So she has a female part as well and wants to bring the female part into politics, but not really in this obvious way. So it's more the other in the mind. So she should be treated as a woman, like every woman wants to be treated as a woman. It doesn't matter if she says it or not. And so she has filled the government with women. Not all are women, but there are. It is the Namibian government with the highest quantity of women inside in the history of Namibia. Not only the president. This has to be respected in the relation of with Namibia. Uh, she became a president, and USA and Namibia always had a kind of relation, you know, and they had always an impact, but not with so many interests, besides the minery and the new oil fields. But it's about expectation as well. So she mentioned in an interview that she was very glad and very happy that Donald Trump would come to the inauguration and that he has sent a letter. So there's a kind of appreciation, attention. That's quite human. That's the wish for appreciation and attention. And it may have been an error or not to send just an envoy to the inauguration. So that was probably a high disappointment, because she was very glad to estimate that Donald Trump comes personally for her inauguration. You didn't come, Donnie. No? You sent somebody else. I even don't know whom you've sent. And then additionally, the one you've sent has officially not been impressed by the inauguration. And when you are invited by a woman, and you say in the middle of this kind of meeting that you are not impressed by the arrangements, that hurts. And so this was an additional factor what has brought a bit tension between the United States and Namibia, and was not really of big concern. Even when afterwards there was a kind of reaction. Trump even makes more regulation for visas, etc. So let's deport all Americans from Namibia. There were around 500. It was not in the news. I haven't known it before. Now I've Googled it. So nobody cared about that 500. The big amount of mass immigration from Americans into Namibia of 500 people has ended, and they have returned on own expenses. It was not an issue at all. No? It is not an issue, but it is an issue for Namibia, because it's a small country with a small population, and caring about attention. They want attention. They have problems, and so it's a woman as the president. So it's also a female side on the presidency, and disappointing a woman in the meeting is not a good idea for diplomatic relations and other relations. And so, the additional unsensitive comment that the inauguration was not impressive is additionally something that hurts the Namibian president. And so that's a little bit the situation now. And so, the ties are now bigger with Kim Jong-un and the ambassador of North Korea, and the idea was primarily to cooperate with the United States to explore the minery and the oil fields. No? Not in a free way, but before the inauguration, she mentioned that the U.S. companies may have interest to explore the oil fields, to explore the minery, and that she would be interested in doing so, cooperating, but not without control. It has been always in her mind a little bit state control, that Africa can benefit out of it. And the situation is a little bit catastrophic in Namibia. There is relatively high literacy rate, so they don't have a big problem with illiteracy. There's a dropout of school of around 20% of the population. 80% have a school degree. And so it's not so bad for a developing country, for a developing African country, even better than in Brazil, no? In fact, no? But it's a bit complicated. Specifically, they have no jobs, no? So after the independence, they've left the 1.8% white people in Namibia with their land and their properties. It worked well, and then they had the approach that they can sell it and the Africans buy it. And there is a push, there's this kind of liberal push from the United Nations, make a fair distribution to all races, quotas for races. There has been a UN push as well. So they want to go into it to solve the problem of unemployment, to give more land to black people, and instead of white people, the majority of the land is in the hand of white people, not in the hand of black people. They want to change it, shift it in the other way around, so that only 1% of the land belongs to white people and the others to the black people. Uh, Fully abandoning the main aspect of it, the meritocracy, no? Because having agriculture, having a land is not doesn't need the highest qualification, doesn't need a university degree, but it does need a minimum qualification, a minimum intelligence. You can't own a land and suddenly everything grows by itself, and you have an efficient agriculture because God wants you to have an efficient agriculture, and you pray for higher rates and for plenty of potatoes or whatever you want to plant. No, you have to do something. You have to know how to plant it, how to run the agriculture as well. This is an aspect that has been always forgotten in some left-wing countries, like in Russia with their kolkhoz, what they had there, and in the eastern countries of Europe as well. So taking away the land from people who know how to do the job, who have the qualification and education, give it in the hand of simple people who have no school degree and don't know anything about it, and let them have to give the orders, brings inefficiency, is against the meritocracy. And this is an aspect Namibia totally forgets right now, because they push in this way of quotas. More land to Africans doesn't matter, qualification doesn't matter. So race matters now a little bit more. It's not really that they go after white people, like sometimes it's a little bit in South Africa, but they want to distribute more power, land and money to black people and take it away from the white people. That's a bit racist as well, and against meritocracy, because it's not the idea to give it to the best. That's what meritocracy means, no? And they will harm their own economy maybe in the middle run. So, and they want to control the minority somehow, bring it under control of the government, but it was not well defined how they want to do the control. That's how they run elections. To get more jobs, because around a bit more than 40% of the population is jobless. And so it means that's a huge problem of Namibia. So they want to invest in minery and agriculture. Agriculture, when she goes this way, that she just gives more land to different people, makes a farm smaller and give it to anybody, doesn't matter what kind of education, it will be the disaster, like it has been in China and in Russia. And but okay, that's their politics, but we can try to advise them to do it better. And and the minority, they may want to take it in the state hands, and when they work together with North Korea, then it will be in state hands, half in Kim's state hands and half in Namibian state hands, and then they work together with South African companies for now. But how much the control goes, the future will show. No? When they overdo it, like in Venezuela, then it may go, the efficiency may go down, because then politicians are in control and not people qualified for the job, and so this will affect the efficiency of the trade and the efficiency of the production, when they simply forget the qualification subject. This may happen. So that's a little bit the situation now there. So what we can do, Mike Pompeo should go to visit North Korea, and I still stand to it. He should visit sister of Kim and Kim as well, and they should talk about the subject. What's missed there in Namibia is one thing, is that it's now a little bit unqualified push. They have the right to do their own politics. In some respects she's right, and others not. So they should be respected as a woman, as a president, of course, but not as lying to her. So she understood it a little bit as disrespect that you haven't been there, Donny, at her inauguration. And maybe Michael can be the special envoy to Namibia as well, but she will feel much more appreciated when you would call her, at least, Donny. She's expected a call after her inauguration. She would have been very happy. But no, you sent an envoy who didn't appreciate the party of the inauguration. So that's the bad feeling of her, and maybe part of her mainly female government. And so, but we can handle it in the way, because the art in this kind is now, when that's it's also a little bit about the dispute between what quotes the Bible as a word. He doesn't use the word lexi, what means word. He uses the word rhema and logos. Logos is logic. Rhema in the former past meaning in Old Greek time was a little bit different and more related to the meaning of the words, not to the words itself. No, it's different if you appreciate the words itself or the meaning behind. No? And that's what's important, to bring then the meaning of Make America Great Again, what you would like to use probably also for Africa, Make Africa and Namibia Great Again, can be misunderstood in different ways. No? It can be in a sophisticated, civilized level. It's on the level that you understand all the interactions. When you understand the interactions, then you understand that you don't make your own country great by destroying others, because only in a developed environment you can develop better than in an underdeveloped environment. When the surrounding is destroyed, you have much more limits to develop. When the surrounding is developed as by itself, you can develop much higher. It interacts with each other. This kind of understanding is left, so that's now also what you see in Namibia. No? So that's also what relates to the uranium deal. So it's not the primary intention to help North Korea and Kim Jong-un to get their nuclear arms. It's the effect of it, but it's not the intention. The intention is to be respected, to have attention, to go their own way, to benefit their own people, not to get always orders from other countries. That's a little bit the main issue behind it. No? And also because of the deception and afterwards that you didn't arrive at the inauguration, and that they didn't like it, that their people need visas, and so they deported all 500 Americans from Namibia, every single one of all 500. No? It's mass deportation. And so that has to be considered as well when we meet with them to talk to them. You have to talk to both parts, no? And you can't convince North Korea not to buy uranium from Namibia. But let's see how we can deal with the Namibian president or the Namibian government, to convince them about all the effects. Because they are not really aware about the dangers and the international dangers to improve the capability to build nuclear bombs worldwide. So they simply don't care about it. And it's not that they are pro or con, they simply don't care about it because it brings job, it brings export. That's all what they care about it. So we should have engaged in their minery, and we are much better in minery than North Korea is. So maybe we should compete with North Korea about using the minery also of uranium uranium shouldn't be used for nuclear bombs, but I'm not against nuclear power stations, so maybe we can promote in other countries nuclear power stations, and then we would need some uranium to export to nuclear power stations to be used there. So we should help them to get we should offer a kind of help to develop their minery. We need also resources. These resources they want to export. In the way of agriculture, they will probably go the wrong way, and they want more black people to be involved. It's not nothing wrong. It's not about black and white. It's about qualified or not qualified. That's the main issue about it. So consider this, and we need to interact with North Korea, and we need to try to convince Namibia not to do the deal with North Korea, and finding other ways together with them that are good for them and good for the one who is involved in the minery. And it shouldn't be such a tough game. North Korea is not really known for the best high-tech in minery and for the most efficient. It's mainly about that they want to buy uranium, and they may be interested to pay a lot of money for the uranium. That's what's behind it. And we find a buyer who want to use it not for nuclear arms, but for something else. Maybe Namibia can be convinced. Try to look into this. That's mainly about the new African politics. Africa has a right to stand by its own. It's very good that they want to live without development aid. and but it's sometimes in this kind of baby status of independence they are many times they forget the international relations, they forget the international impact of their actions, and so we need to try in the as diplomats and in foreign relations to show them the effects of their international relations. That they can consider it. Okay, see you. May the logic be with you.